Good morning, everybody. This is Bob McGoy with blog.cati.com. Yes, what you do see on screen is Windows 95, and you see SolidWorks 95. What I thought I'd do is do a series of blogs where we'd go through SolidWorks today and SolidWorks, yesterday, meaning, SolidWorks 95. You can see here I'm just going through a couple changes in SolidWorks 95 to get everything ready to go from a modeling my part. You can see the dimensional change dialog. It's a little bit different than we have today. But what I wanted to do is just go through and let you see how part modeling was done back then. Then we're going to see what that's like today. If you look at my blog a little bit later, you also see I recorded all the mouse travel and the mouse clicks for this session as well, so you can see what's going on. You can still see that we're dragging just like we did in the past. We still have the Smart Dimension tool, as you can see right there. A couple things are different, that we've had some enhancements over the years. You can see right there, just double clicking on that, we get up that dialog and change that. Notice there are no features toolbars at this point in time, but you can still see the menu structure the same way. Our extrude command, all the same functionalities that we have today, two directions, up to surface, blind, draft in both directions, is all there. Few things that we've enhanced over the years. Back then we didn't have shaded with edges, so we either had shaded or edges. You can see that the view orientation toolbar looks very much a lot like what we have today, but just a little different. Here I'm just going to go normal 2 and just double click on that guy so I can look at the front face. The part I'm modeling is very similar to the part in the first lesson of the Essentials class. So we're going to go through, we're going to model a tombstone shape with an arc at the top here. So you can see I'm actually not able to pick up model edges at that point in time, so I'm going to have to go back and actually add that dimension manually. So you can see there I'm going back. I didn't have the gesture into an arc, but I did have tangent arc, so that made my life a little bit easier. And I still had zoomed fit. You can see I put my dimensions in the same way I would in the Essentials class right there. I'm putting in the height, we'll put in the radius of that arc, and we'll put the distance from the origin away. Now you're probably asking, well, Bob, why didn't you center that up on the part? Well, the part in the Essentials class, you actually didn't center it. So right here you can kind of see what's going on with that part. So I messed up my dimensioning scheme there, so I'll just go back and redo that. So you can see right there, go ahead and put that last dimension in, but you can see I'm still underdefined. If I go ahead and grab that, you'll see that it's still not attached to the bottom. Now back then, it wasn't control to select multiple things. It was actually shift, but we changed that doctorate later on. I think in 98 we added that in. So right here I'm going to go, you can see right there, still has the content sensitive relationships that you add in. It knew that it couldn't add a midpoint between those two. It only gave you the ones that it was allowed to do at the time. So you can see some of this. Once again, you look at that extrude command, even though it's not in the property manager, because the property manager isn't there yet, you can still see we still have all that great functionality. Now you see the whole wizard. This kind of comes back to, if you've ever taken the Essentials class, they always ask you about why do you select the first face. Well, that's how they always had to do it. The whole wizard actually would not even be available unless you selected the face for the whole to go on. You can see here we're going through and giving you the depth on the whole wizard. The whole wizard at that point in time was a dialog box with 3 steps. You can see it's asking you for what type. But at this point in time, we didn't quite have it hooked up to the Machinist Handbook of Holes, but it still had the same core functionality. It was taking that profile, doing a revolve cut. Now, I goofed up, I forgot to relate it, so I'm just going to go back and edit my sketch and add that relationship between those. And you can see right there, I'm going to hold my shift key, select those 2 points. Oops, I selected my control key. So now I'll come back in. Oh, can't wake up the center point, but that was another functionality we added in later. So here, at the time when I did this video, I didn't realize that I had to hold the shift key, so I actually kind of did a redneck workaround by actually adding a center line in and attaching it to those points. So you can see that there, that was kind of my redneck workaround until I realized the shift key was actually the select multiple things. So I fixed that a little bit later. So, and later on in the new articles that I do, you won't see me doing something like that. But hey, you get such great enhancements over the years, you kind of take things for granted. So So right here, we'll just go ahead and proceed forward, and we'll get this thing polished off here. So that's modeling a very simple part in SolidWorks 95. As you can see there, still have the rotate command as always, and we got a nice looking part, and took us about 6 minutes. Okay everybody, I'm back. I'm going to pop up the measurement dialog box here so we can just look at the different units. You can see just how much more functionality that we have today. And most of this is thanks to you guys. Things such as the quick toolbar right there when I hit the S key, bringing up the most popular used commands. Also right mouse button holding and gesturing for the command I wanted. Notice how fast I went into the measurement tool. Hitting F on the keyboard to do a zoom to fit. I just did a mouse gesture to the right to do an extrusion. So these are things that are making your life easier today that are just amazing. And one of the things that we have to appreciate is how SolidWorks has changed, but very much how it has stayed the same. We still have 2D sketches to deal with. We still have extrusions. We still have features. These are all things that make our life easier. And it's all thanks to you guys, because you support the community, you're our users, and we really enjoy you going back and looking at this information and just seeing how things happen now and then. As you can see here, I am about a minute into this, and I've got the majority of the features that took me quite a bit of time in SolidWorks 95. Some of that may have just been my lack of knowledge of how 95 worked back then, but things seem to be so much easier now. You can even see that extrude command that was just up there. I was able to do bidirectional extrusion, up to surface, up to next, through all, control different directions. I had all that from the first day of SolidWorks. And as you can see, the whole wizard inside of SolidWorks has evolved quite a bit since back then. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Bob McGoy, and this has been SolidWorks Now and Then.